These uniforms hanging on the rack are the accomplishment of a group of 9 women who have been given the opportunity to learn how to sew. After a short week, these women are nothing short than proud, applauding each other's effort as an end product is showcased to the class.
One pair that was done today? See how you can do other things?
These are awesome. I love it.
How much you want for them? How much you want for them? No. $15?
What is special about these women is that they're all mothers looking to learn a trade that will help them bring some much-needed income to their home.
I didn't reach the fourth farm level, and job is really hard to get if you don't have a diploma. And then I decided to learn a trade so that someday I might use this trade to learn to basically give food to my kids through this money.
All the women taking part in these sewing classes are mothers of students who attend Holy Cross Anglican Primary School. Holy Cross is located across the San Pedro Bridge in the San Mateo area. The school was open to provide education to children of the area who are not attending classes based on financial restrictions. Due in part to donations and volunteers, each year the school continues to grow. Holy Cross houses a cafeteria, computer room, library, among many other school components, but now is proud to house a sewing center beneficial to the mothers in the Holy Cross family.
The Sewing Centre came as an offshoot of the Community Empowerment Project in San Mateo. So the men were working on the roads and the women then wanted something to do, and they said they would like to do sewing. So the school has provided the space and coordinated the effort to get the donation of sewing machines, and now the women of the community are coming in to give their time in the hope of having a job for themselves, really selling uniforms, making anything else for the tourists, for local businesses that they can then sell.
How long has this project been going on?
The Sewing Centre has been open for about 3 weeks, but of course it's been several months in the building.
And they have no training whatsoever.
Other than some hand mending, from my understanding, most of them had not used a sewing machine, or especially they just recently received one of the serger machines, a specialty machine, which is when I came, so I was able to help show some people how to thread it, how to use it, and some of the things that may go wrong and how to fix it. But I believe the majority of them had certainly no official training for that.
Yeah.
So the stuff that they're learning now, what's the next step with it?
Well, right now the ladies are learning how to make the jumper for the school uniform. So our goal is that by the end of the school holidays, they'll be selling the majority of the Holy Cross jumpers. After that, they can really make whatever they like. They're learning to make shirts and trousers also as part of the uniform, but they're also going to be learning to make bags to sell into the tourist market, and some of them also have their own ideas about what they'd like to do, and it's their project and they are free to do anything.
Creativity now comes into play.
Right,
huh?
we've spent some time talking. I made them a pattern today of a drawstring pant and showed them a couple of tricks of how easy and fast you can make those, and that while they were waiting for fabric for the school jumper, or they were in between the uniform things, that if they set a date and decided to have some sort of sale or something, that they could be constantly working on a project so that they could build up a supply of things to sell. And then, they would decide amongst themselves of whether they were going to do it collectively or on their own. But they're all very interested in making their own money and the uniforms for their own children, and to have it go forward. And they're very dedicated. I mean, they seem to, they will be here. I've been here all week. They've come every day.
Yeah, I have high expectations of the Sewing Centre. The dedication that I have seen from the women is so high. I mean, I've seen them look at their own practice work, like their first attempt ever at trousers, and saying for themselves, I have got to get better at this. There is no way I'm going to be in business in 6 months if this is as good as what I'm putting out. And you just can't teach that to someone. So I have very, very high expectations of the Sewing Centre.
Now this is the beginning of it, and it's 9 women. How about other women?
The Sewing Centre is open to anyone who is a parent of a child at Holy Cross School, and any children at Holy Cross School who wish to learn. I think we have space for 14 machines, and after that we'll just have to see, but people will have, different, it'll be open the whole day. Some people will come in the morning, some will come in the afternoon, and it's just going to grow over time.
How did the center itself get full? Sewing machines, you need cloth, you need needles, you need thread. How did you all manage to get that?
Sewing machines were provided by a gentleman in Belize who's setting up sewing centres all over the place. Also just the generosity, we have volunteer teams coming down to Holy Cross all the time. We had some of them bring a sewing machine. Another lady happened to hear about the sewing centre and she was leaving Belize and she dropped off her own personal sewing machine. So they come from everywhere. There's a company in Belize City who has generously offered to provide the grey and white material for the uniforms at a heavily discounted price. Also, the sewing centre is being managed in the United States by a lady called Sarah Montgomery from Purdue University, I believe. Drury University. Cut that. And she has secured a grant. So a financial grant to help the sewing centre to get off the ground and to make any purchases that they need to make. So if we need additional machines quickly, we'll be able to purchase those.
And you're a volunteer here for this week.
Yes.
Next week you're going to have another volunteer.
Yes.
And so it will continue to grow.
Yes, I've just been amazed that in each group that has come down, with really not much foreplanning, there has always been someone who has a passion for sewing and has just spent their time with the ladies in the sewing centre, and that's just been wonderful. And you came this week with the knowledge of how to use the serger, which was knowledge that we didn't have before. We had one, we just didn't know what to do with it, and now it's become a part of the knowledge they have.
So it's with pride that these women are learning the ins and outs of the machines, all the while creating items that they hope will be huge sellers. However, they're also coming to the realization that this is something other than a job. It's something that they're learning to love.
I love it. I like it.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
And you think this is something that will help them?
Oh, yes.
So do you recommend other mothers to take advantage?
Yes. I think it's good for all the mothers. Like they come over and learn.
First, when I came here, I go like, what? A machine? I didn't know. Basically, nothing from a machine. They teach me what's a bobbin now. I am teaching the rest. I don't learn how to make a jumper. I am learning to make a pants by pattern. It's hard, but then we're going there.
So what advice do you give other women out there?
The same advice I took for myself. Basically, we have to win our brain nowadays, because if you see mine are just the next thing right now. So we don't have to depend on men all the times. Sometimes I think like my husband could die and then I could win the bread over for my kids.
As mentioned, the Holy Cross Sewing Center is available to all mothers and students of the educational institution. With the hopes of continued growth, they are ever grateful for those who had a part in helping the center become a reality.
Well, we'd just like to thank everyone who has donated to the sewing centre, and if you want to make a donation, then check out the Holy Cross website and get in touch with me.
For further information on Holy Cross or its sewing center, kindly visit holycrossbelize.org. And that is it for today on our San Pedro web. See you next time.